Proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
The Hamburg Atlanteans can take solace in the fact that all their decks won.
What amazing decks! You cannot even judge that. The decks were absolutely spot on in skill and power.
Pismir is definitely MVP, and just the 15 chains on Cleaver. Not only that, but the way. Then you can't make up that kind of game. It's the kind of game that is just soul shattering to be in Julian's position in that game. But if you're Carl, it's the kind of game that stays with you forever. It's the kind of game where everything goes perfectly. No matter what your opponent did, you were able to immediately counter them, and that kind of game sticks with you throughout the entirety of the event.
Yeah. So I'll stop typing now. I mean, it was an awesome set of games. I'm so glad we recorded them, and I look forward to Hamburg Lanterns being last season's Cinderella story continuing again this to be hopefully not the Cinderella this team, but I think it's going to be some rivalry between them and the Key Frogs right now. I mean, what do you think?
Because the Hamburg Atlanteans were the first team the Key Frogs came across coming into this event in KOTE 7, and that's part of why I wanted to cover this here, because it shows how far the Key Frogs have sort of grown, because they're a team that continually keeps getting better. It's a team that I love to keep an eye on.
Definitely, not even any debate with you there. And not so they've never been a bad team. Let me be clear as well. But anyway, as we are coming towards the 20 past the hour, let's go over to look at the current results. And of course, no one can see that.
Not tonight. The short adaptive game was actually the last one I filmed, so it was the big decider. But I wanted to get it done first because it was a 10-minute game, and it just doing that one last can be a bit dragging.
Yeah, definitely. Though may not be this time, but anyway. So let's the disc group. At the top of the disc group, we have Com Officer Dura and D20 Primus equal top with 2 match wins, 5 game wins, and 17 keys. Actually, and D20 Merc. Wow, you don't see that very often. 3 teams after 2 rounds with the same matches.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, we've seen it before, but I don't know. It's going to be tight at the top, and then you got the HKBs with 6-1-3s.
The scores are no longer taken into account next week's bye.
Yes, I thought I fixed that before the stream last week, but yeah, that's been fixed. It does make life easier. And looking at the games this week coming up, well, let's just look down here for a second. So Con Officer Duo did get the bye this week. Let's give them that. But
so Comms Officer Duo are taking on Comms Officer Satu, which is just
incestuous.
Delicious.
But yeah.
Sentineless are taking on Saigon Papillion.
I could say that one.
It's a D20 Revolution.
HKB get the bye, and yeah, this is. I would say Sentineless and Saigon Papillion personally, if I was going to go.
I'd be interested in D20 Primus taking on D20 Merc.
I think they'll both be good.
Yeah, I think all these games are going to be really interesting. HKP might be a little bit one-sided.
What, the bye?
Yeah.
So, amusingly enough, Sloppy Wabweb also had the same score as the top teams in DIS, with 2-5-17. This is getting curious. Team SAS LP, do we get their last game in or not in the end? Which game?
Yeah, it needs the Team SAS LP. I messaged you about this yesterday. It needs to go to Team SAS.
Okay, can we get them to submit it for us?
I'll do it.
Okay, if we can do that. So that will put Team SAS on top with 6-3, 6-18, having not lost a game yet. And then we've got Midwest Martians, who are only on 1 match win. That's interesting. How have we got so... No, they've only got 6-2, 6-18 even. So yeah, then Midwest Martians, ABRs. I mean, all the groups we have are good groups. But
oh, definitely.
No one won 3-0 apart from the bye in this group this week. That's fascinating.
Ooh.
So next week, what games do you have? I'd say ABR versus Team SAS.
I'm just submitting the result. I haven't had a chance to.
Sure,
ABI Evil Triplets taking on Team SAS. When I was talking to T about the issue he was having, I was like, the Quixelstone Bros, the fact that they all brought 3 Quixelstones, anytime those guys are playing, that is the game to watch because Quixelstone is such a test of skill.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that comes. And then we move on to Mars. So Key Frogs, as we just saw, are top of the table with 6-2-5-16, are the one-off matching everyone else's score. And the Califax Austria are also 6-2-5-16. This is getting eerie now. Hamburger Anti-Ones unfortunately taking the loss that week, but they're still comfortably in third place, equal with Can't Touch This and SCS Steelers. Can't Touch This, SCS Steelers. Did we give that game to Can't Touch This, I believe, in the end? I would check
yes,
with Simon.
Don't check with Simon, but that one needs to definitely be that as well.
So not tonight. Congratulations on the win.
This is Key Frogs and Kangafans in Austria are the breakaway teams of this group. Looking at the power that you've got in here, Amber Minimum and Hamburg Atlanteans having KFPL for season 2 finalists. It's great to see essentially relatively unknown teams in terms of like the top teams taking the top of the group so early. Key Frogs and No Kangafans in Austria are still amazing teams. But if an objective person looked at this list, they would be very shocked to see like where how it's coming out.
Definitely. So Can't Touch This are actually ahead of Hamburger Lanterns by the time they did the 6-1-4-16. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
When we put the next game in, that would
top it over.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Sanction group. This is the international group and a few others. Oh, the flag's not appearing. I need to let the flags out. I wonder what happened there. The Madrid Archons and ABR Youngest Bears, 2-4-15 and 2-4-14. So Salty with 6-1-4-14. Strange Gizmo 6-1-3-15. Baguette and Switch 6-0-2-10. And the Finals window 6-0-1-9. I mean, again, there was a 3-0, but only one, which is So Salty. And So Salty, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but they seem to be storming ahead this time.
Yeah,
how did they do last week? I mean, okay, they're one off the Youngest Bear last week, but I don't know. Interesting to see where they're going to go. I mean, let's see who they got this week to play.
They've got Baguette and Switch. That might have to be the featured game. That's tasty.
I look forward to seeing that one. Strange Gizmos have Madrid Archons, Delta.
No pressure, Ultimo.
And ABO Youngest Bears versus the Final Swindle Delta. It's going to be an interesting week as ever. So moving on to Saurians. Having License 2, top of the table. Congratulations, Lorenzo, or Julian, even.
But top of the table joint with the Manchester Mavericks.
Both of them on 3 games each week 1. And the Fellowship of the Archons has only lost 1 game by 1 key. I mean, boot camp 1-3-2-12.
The Hamburg Luncheons did get the bye this week.
Well, that's that. Okay, maybe that's why they're doing so well. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But next week they're playing Keyforce Granada. That would be a great game to see. Keyforce Granada are another great team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Fellowship of the Archons and the Manchester Mavericks would be a very strong game as well.
I mean, is that worth giving the Fellowship of the Archons some love? You haven't had the Manchester Mavericks on the stream for a while. I'll let you assess.
A brand new team.
Yeah. And some of our Nordic brethren. So move on. Yes, Ultimo. I understand why your game is more important than the feature game. Maybe we should make Ultimo's game the feature game.
Ultimo's game is the one I want to feature. He doesn't want to be the feature game. That's what he's saying.
KIP at the top with 2-5-17 again. Team Cotzino with 2-5-16. Good to see Team Cotzino back up there.
Only 1 key behind there.
I mean, Team Cotzino are always just that step behind. It's just a shame. They're such a good team. Such nice guys. Then Papan.
Rocket Boots came in with a lot of smack talk, but bottom half of the table. Come on, guys. I wanted it to be a close race for the top.
They lost to Paca Beach 3-0. I mean, who did Paca Beach play week 1? Paca Beach, California Crackers.
California Crackers.
So KIP had the bye this week, so they're definitely going to stay top of the table.
Kip got the bye this week.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting, and then we're going to move on to Unfathomable. Yeah. New York City and Reapout again with 2-5-17, that magic number.
Yeah.
This is just getting eerie.
What's going on there?
But great to see those two teams at the top, two great teams. The final
And
twin does
Alpha
2
right
5
behind
16. I mean, they're one game, 3 keys behind, 1 key behind. If it ain't broke, 6 1 3 12. Go for it, man.
Yeah, I was just saying the final Swindle Alpha are right behind them on this score as well.
I mean, and if you look at the results here, only one game went 3-0, and that was the bye. So all the games went 2-0, 2-1. This game went to. I need to check who won that one.
Before the feature game is because the smaller number of teams hasn't meant a smaller skill level. It's just meant more concentrated
Oh
skill.
yes, that's definitely true. So this week, Reapout versus Perfectly Owing, New York versus If It Ain't Broke. I mean, New York versus If It Ain't Broke wouldn't be a bad pairing to have.
New York versus oh god, I'm just gonna go straight ahead to Untamed because my food's ready. So I need to go quickly.
Okay, I'll do it. Go.
Yeah, Hamburger Luncheon's 3 leading the top of the Untamed house with
2-5-17
2-5-17 on the
again.
Brain Games LV.
Is it eerie? Plutchkey 2-4-14, Better Call KOTE 1-4-14, Starship Lucha 6-1-3-14. I mean, again, this is great houses to see, great teams to see.
Plutchkey versus Hamburger Luncheon's 3 would definitely be my one to watch here.
Yeah, I get that one. I mean, Better Call KOTE versus Starship Looters, I would say as well, because they're both very similar scores and they're both very impressive teams.
Similar scores, but if Klutchkey beat Hamburg Lancers here, they'll essentially take their place in the they can take over their place.
That is true.
Which is very interesting.
And that's it for the show this week. Thank you everyone for watching. We're going to end quite suddenly here because Brett's hungry.
I'm very hungry and my food's going. The last thing to quickly mention for the 13 people still watching before we raid over is that KOTE 10 formats discussion has started, but it isn't starting with us. We are outsourcing KOTE 10 to the Patreons. So we're basically asking the Patreon subscribers, our Patreon tiers, to suggest what formats they want to see for KOTE 10, narrow it down to as little number as possible, and then the admins will decide from there. We want to know what the players want to play in KOTE, because we've decided the last 9, so 1 out of 10 will be up to you. That makes sense.
It makes sense, and I'm looking forward to seeing some fresh perspective. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but we'll see what comes through.
If you want to have your say on KOTE 10, become a Patreon.
If you don't want to have a say, don't.
If you don't want to have if you don't want to have a say, just complain about the fact that it's because that KOTE's become paid to win apparently.
And if you just want to give us money for no apparent reason, I'll give you our PayPal. But thanks everyone for watching tonight. We're going to end it here. We'll be back next week, same 8 PM BST, with the end of round 3 and start round 4. And we're getting close to the end now already. It feels we're halfway through. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Before the end of the group stage.
We'll be halfway through in week 4.
Yeah.
With the
Sorry.
stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's why I wanted to get the KOTE 10s for you. But yeah, it's summer and time seems to really fly by in summer.
Definitely. Well, cheers everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Keep on watching.
Alright, see you next week.